So I was thinking about it and I was wondering, what would it look like if it, Pennywise, and Venom were one terrifying character? Also, bleh, it's almost Halloween. To bring this creature to life, I'm first applying foundation to my face. Except I'm not. Because Pennywise doesn't have eyebrows, does he? No. I'm starting off by covering up my eyebrows using a washable glue stick. I'm also using the back of a Madeyewlook brush. I think I'm probably going to use this for the rest of covering my eyebrows because it's actually a good tool, and I just discovered this like a couple weeks ago. After they're glued down, I'm covering them using 2 layers of concealer. Not really necessary, but I decided that's what I wanted to do. Applied foundation to the rest of my face and powdered my face. Using the Madeyewlook body paint in the color Yeti, I'm then applying this to my entire face. I also came to realize that many people struggle with applying white body paint, and also realize that a lot of times I don't actually show fully painting my face white. I just kind of say, apply white face paint, and then I do it, and then the clip is over. So I wanted to show how many times I actually do load my brush and how much paint I actually put on my brush. I literally just go You want to make sure that you have paint on both sides of your brush. It's pretty important. I normally do my cheek area first and then going on to my forehead. My forehead's really the only area that I don't do a back and forth motion. So for example, if I'm applying my paint horizontally, I then go back and do it vertically. If I'm doing it side to side, I then go the other side to side and make like an X. I personally always cover up my eyebrows and around my eyes last. When going the second direction when applying the paint, I also paint a little bit lighter than my very first back and forth. That way I don't get streaks in the paint I've already applied. This isn't just for my body paint, this is for any water activated paint. Don't get discouraged, it just takes practice. By the way, any talking sections in this, it's all voiceovered. My TikTok skills are coming in handy right now. I still have a little bit of echo in my room after all this time drives me insane. I then applied white eyeshadow around my eyes. My brush had a little bit of gray eyeshadow still left in it. It didn't really make a difference. And using red eyeshadow, I just filled in the diamonds around my eyes, not actually filling in the lines that are going to go underneath my eyes. You're also about to watch me drain myself. Drain, get it? It, Pennywise? Maybe? A drain? Anyways, drain myself into a beauty look that I did not intend on doing. I really went down a huge rabbit hole. I started painting and apparently I was just in one of those moods where really I just wanted to do something and I started doing it. I applied red eyeshadow, then I went in and applied more red eyeshadow. Then I evened out the white on my eyelid because it was looking a little bit sketchy. Ugh, satisfying. Then using an even darker red, I filled in the diamonds. Then I went back in using black eyeshadow and outlined my entire eye, even under my eye, and shaded into the diamond. A lot of information. I didn't know I was getting that detailed at the time, but that's what happened. And of course lined my eyes and added mascara. Going back and using the Madeyewlook body paint in the color Yeti, I'm applying it down my neck and on my chest, kind of leaving a space open where I think the mouth is gonna go. And using an eyebrow marker, once again outlining where the mouth is going to go. Using the Madeyewlook body paint in the color Vampire, I'm then roughly outlining my lips. This isn't like the official lips. And also outlining where the tongue is gonna go for the Venom portion, also using Vampire. Now for this section, I really didn't wet the paint all that much because I just wanted it to be a light sketch, be able to blend it in if I had to. I didn't want it to be something very harsh, but you do need to spray your paints with water in order to activate them. I do a light mist with a water bottle on mine. Once again, going back with the eyebrow marker and outlining where I want all of my teeth to go. You guys are going to kill me with how many times I'm saying Madeyewlook in this video. We are then going to use the Madeyewlook Halloween pack. Now the Halloween pack grouped together is only available in October. After October they are going to be sold individually, so if you're interested in getting the package, I would get them together now. But the reason I'm specifically mentioning this is because the entire mouth is done using the Halloween pack, which is Bone Tone, Vampire, and Oak. The main color for the tongue is all three colors mixed together, a little bit of Oak, a little bit of Vampire, quite a bit of bone tone. The highlights on the tongue are then going in using just bone tone and a very little bit of water, so it kind of blends together, it's not so harsh. The shadows are done using Vampire and Oak mixed together. I'm then using my foundation brush to kind of blend those out. I don't really want anything in the tongue to be harsh lines. As far as placement where a lot of these curves are going to go, a lot of it honestly is just practice. I wanted the tongue to be very squiggly and venom looking, like it's going you know? So any area that the tongue bends, I'm using more Oak and Vampire, and any area where the tongue would come up and the light would hit it, I'm going to highlight it using bone tone. To make the shading a little more dramatic, I'm going in using an extremely dark brown eyeshadow, almost black, and just going back and deepening all of the shading. Also adding shading underneath the teeth. Mixing together the Madeyewlook body paint in the color Oak and a very little bit of Vampire, I filled in all of the areas behind the tongue. I also filled in behind the teeth, but this is boring, you don't care. And outlined the teeth using eyeliner. Also boring, you don't care. Maybe a little more interesting around the bottom. Using only the color Vampire, I'm then going around and filling in my lips. And just making it a little bit brighter using the Madeyewlook body paint in the color Cherry. Using the color Yeti, I'm then going in and highlighting around my lips as well as on the tongue. You can also use bone tone for this, it just won't be as bright. Using the color Ink, I'm then going around my lips and shading underneath and a little bit above my lips as well. Going back using black eyeshadow, and then added all of the shading around the It Venom mouth. We could finally connect the It makeup to the Venom mouth. Now you can see why I waited till later. I also created a little curve in that line since his cheeks would be puffy if he were smiling this big. For my nose, I once again used a mix of Oak and Vampire. I also added a little bit of Cherry on the tip just to make it a little brighter. And finally, using gray eyeshadow. Well, first off, if you want to keep this a little more of a glam kind of look, you don't have to add the wrinkles, but if you want to make it more of like a spooky, I'm definitely going to pull you into the sewer kind of thing, you're going to want to add your gray eyeshadow and add your wrinkles, the furrow to your brows, and make yourself just look more evil. As well as deepening the inner parts of your eyes using black eyeshadow. And because I'm obsessed, I highlighted everything using white eyeliner. If you enjoyed this video or any of my videos, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any suggestions for makeup mashups, let me know in the comments below. And if I don't see you again before Halloween, have a happy and safe Halloween, everyone.